What's going on, guys? It's Zach here, bringing you guys another fantasy football video. This one I'm going to go over 3 of the safest tight ends I think you can draft this season in fantasy football. Before I get into it, I do want to mention that Mark Andrews will be an honorable mention here. I've talked about him a lot this offseason. You guys know how excited I am, although I did feel like I sort of had to leave him off of the safest tight ends to draft list just because I think that there is some risk associated with him. They're going to get a new offensive coordinator. Lamar's been able to stay healthy, and he's also costing you a third-round draft pick, which makes him relatively risky given that he could just underperform a little bit and not pay off of that ADP. So I didn't want to call him a super safe pick, mostly just because of how high he's being drafted. But all 3 of these guys are guys that I'm super comfortable leaving the draft with as my tight end 1, and guys that I think are going to be really stable and really consistent for you this season. This will be finishing out my series where I go over the safest players at each position to draft, so guys that you're drafting with a high floor and guys that you can really expect to perform relatively consistently for you throughout the course of the season. I do highly recommend you go watch those 3 videos if you haven't, although they're all very useful. If you just want to pick and choose, that's totally fine as well. Been a lot of fun making these videos. We'll get into some content where I go over players with a lot of upside and super high ceilings as well to sort of give you those players with different ranges of outcomes as well. So, been a lot of fun making these videos. I find it to be really useful in terms of helping myself build out my teams, and I think it's a lot of fun to do them as well. So, yeah, with that, let's get into the first tight end here. Starting us off, this one was pretty obvious for me. It's TJ Hockenson, especially in PPR formats. Hawkinson's just going to have an extremely high floor. After being traded to the Minnesota Vikings, he was on pace to lead the tight end position across the NFL in targets. I think he's got a little bit legitimate shot to do that again this season. The Vikings will be a top 3 team in terms of pass attempts this season, and TJ Hockenson is likely the number 2 target. Even if he does slide down to number 3 here, he's going to have around a 20% target share in an offense that's probably going to throw the ball 600-700 times. He could easily see 150 targets this season if things break right, and if that happens, he's going to have an absolutely monster season. And on top of that, if the touchdowns do break his way, he's got a legitimate case to be the tight end 2 as well this season. He likely can't finish as the tight end 1 just because he's not an extremely efficient player. He doesn't really make too many explosive plays happen, and he's not really utilized in the red zone the way some of the guys like Mark Andrews and Travis Kelce are. But TJ Hawkinson's going to catch so many passes this season, he'll likely just be a really consistent guy that you can count on 12 to 13 fantasy points every single week, and he'll have some spike performances when touchdowns break his way. So Hawkinson's a really great pick. He's not going to win your league, but he's going to be a really stabilizing force for your roster, and I have no problem drafting him in the 4th round where he's going right now. Up next, this one's pretty easy for me as well. It's Dallas Goedert. You guys know how much I love Dallas Goedert this season. I've currently even got him ranked as my tight end 3, just behind Kelce and Andrews. I think Dallas Goedert's just always been one of the more efficient tight ends in the NFL. He's always just been a monster in terms of yards per route run, yards per target, and I think this could be the season where he legitimately sees the most targets in his career. I do expect the Eagles to be a little bit more pass-heavy this season, having lost Miles Sanders. Rashad Penny appears to be on the roster bubble. Kenneth Gainwell is currently listed as their starting running back, and DeAndre Swift looks to be the number 2 there. And if that's the case, that one of those 2 running backs can really hold up for that many carries this season. They just paid Jalen Hurts a ton of money over several years. They're not going to want to really expose him to injury. I think this is going to be a team that's going to throw the ball a bit more than they did last season, and they've obviously got the weapons to do it. This is going to be a really condensed target tree in Philadelphia as well. It is A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, and Dallas Goedert. You could make the argument that Dallas Goedert is the number 2 target in this offense, as he really was almost more involved than Devonta Smith, even a little bit more involved, as some could argue, before getting injured at like week 10, week 11 last season. I think however you want to slice it, he's going to be a player that's going to get around a 20% target share in Philadelphia. With some touchdown luck, he could easily push Andrews to be the number 2 tight end as well, and assuming health, he's easily going to finish ahead of his ADP of tight end 7. Like I said, he's ranked as my tight end 3, and I think that honestly I'd be shocked if he finishes outside the top 5 this season. He's pretty much been my favorite target in drafts this season, especially if I miss out on Andrews in the 3rd, who I love drafting, and I think he's just going to be a really solid draft pick for you guys this season. Next up, and the last tight end I'll go over here is going to be Pat Freiermuth. Digging a little bit deeper here, he did have almost 100 targets last season, finishing the season with 98 targets. And this was a season where the Steelers finished in the bottom half in terms of pass attempts. I think it's possible they throw the ball a little bit more this season now that Kenny Pickett's got another year under his belt. And he only scored 2 touchdowns last season, and he still managed to finish as the tight end 12. He's currently being drafted as the tight end 10, so he should easily finish ahead of this. With some touchdown luck, he could easily finish inside the top 5 of the position. It's becoming more and more clear that they're going to utilize him as pretty much like a large slot wide receiver for them. He's going to operate really in between the 20s. He'll be a really useful asset in the red zone as well. He did score 7 touchdowns in his rookie season, so he clearly has that upside. He's just a really big player. He's honestly flashed really promisingly so far in his career, and you need to know that he is just a 3rd-year tight end. This is often a year that we see tight ends break out in the NFL, so there is a world where Pat Freiermuth does break out this season, especially if Kenny Pickett could take that step forward. And honestly, I think Freiermuth is just going to be a guy that's going to get so many targets, catch so many passes, that he's going to be a really safe, like low-end tight end 1, and if things really do break well for him, he does have top 5 upside this season. So that'll do it for my 3 safest tight ends to draft in fantasy football drafts this season video. Up next, I'll be going over 10 tips and tricks to help you guys dominate your fantasy leagues. These are just tips and tricks that are sort of all across the board, things like trading, waiver wire, setting lineups, draft strategy, all that stuff, things that I want you to utilize throughout the whole course of your season and really help you guys dominate your fantasy leagues. Obviously, draft day is a huge day for that, but it's not going to be just draft day that you want to take those tricks into, and you really want to make sure that you're playing at the top of your game throughout the whole course of the season. I do think that it's going to be one of the more useful videos for you guys to watch, so I do highly recommend you stay tuned for that one and give it a watch. If this is your first time on the channel and you want to make sure that you can get a notification when that one comes out, please do subscribe to the channel. You can click the notification bell so you get notification when new videos come out. There will be new videos every single day, if not 2 a day, or if not some days with 2 throughout the course of the rest of the offseason. I really want to get you guys all the content I'm planning on putting out before you guys get your drafts done, and I'm going to be putting out several videos throughout the course of the regular season as well. It's going to be a lot of fun. Really want to help you guys dominate your leagues. I really want to help grow the channel as well. We're at like 635 subscribers right now. It'd be awesome if we could hit 1,000 by the start of the NFL season. Probably won't happen, but it's been really cool to see the channel grow so much. It's really cool to see how much you guys love what I have to say, and it's just been a lot of fun growing the channel like that. And if you do want to help grow the channel and you've already subscribed, please do give this video a thumbs up. It really helps with the algorithm, really helps me know that I'm doing a good job, and helps me know that I should keep putting out videos like this as well. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you with the next one. Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, check out these other videos here if you haven't. If you want more content, please feel free to follow me on Twitter at RealSteelFFB. I'll be more active on there as the season goes on. Thanks. Catch you later.